And he's like, and it's just me and him launching off. Nobody else was launching. We launched at like 09 in the morning. Nobody else was like before the first actual launch of the day that they needed us there. We launch off. We go hit the tanker. We hold at our cap, and we hit our push time, and we're rolling in, and we hit our our NLAR, and I'm just holding the pickle button down, and I have time to look over at my wingman, and I'm just watching 1,000-pound bombs come off his jet, and I can feel mine. You can feel it. It just comes off, and it's so just almost rocks you to sleep. You know what I mean? And I'm watching his jet, and I'm just watching 12,000-pound bombs that are each going to different, and that's what everybody's doing. They're trying to knock out every one of these bunkers, and it was just a huge field of them. We did it. We hung out for a while. We're looking for from squirters, just like Pete was talking about, a couple guys, and there were. Just like I do, they had the A-10 there. They weren't going to take a Super Hornet. The A-10, like they kept the A-10 around. Like we had to go get gas, and they kept the A-10 around so they could use their gun and do all the cool things that A-10. Yeah. Like Jesus, man. Anyway, we went and got gas, and all it was, we went in, got gas. We dropped our bombs, hung out for like 10 minutes, ran out of gas. We had to hit the tanker, and then we came back to the carrier. We were the only ones on that recovery. And we came in for the shit hot break, and it was amazing. It was absolutely the pinnacle of my career. You launch off from the Persian Gulf, go drop 6,000 pounds worth of ordnance. You go get gas. You come back to the carrier. You come in for a 615 knot break at the carrier. Nothing beats that, man. The adrenaline that America. Day, that is America.
It's screams freedom.
That is freedom. Awesome. That's absolute freedom. I mean, nothing beats it.
That's awesome. Yeah. I got nothing to compare to that. We would try to like, hey, we want to drop all our bombs so we can go back to initial versus doing a straight in, but we're doing 350 knots.
No.
Like, Air Force's mind would explode with a 600 knot.
The fastest a Super Hornet go with pylons on the wings like they had on it, 615 knots. That's it. That's all she's got. And I had it pegged out. Full afterburner. Yeah, full afterburner. And I call it the Satan brake. It's 666, right? So you're 600 knots, you're 600 feet, and you got to brake 0.6 behind the ship. So it's the Satan brake. Yeah, not many people can do it.
That's a lot. We would like to, if you dropped all your bombs in the Viper, then you weren't 0.95 limited. So drop all your bombs in like northern Syria, and then super power lane coming through, going south, and go boom Raqqa, because we weren't touching Raqqa yet. But like let them know, hey, knock on their door, Yeah. Hey, I don't know. You might be able to talk about this. I've only seen the news article. This is like 2 years old. That F-35 that came back to the boat fast break. It sounded like it was slowing down, then went off the boat and crashed.
The one that hit the back of the ship.
Yeah, it hit the back of the ship and then slid off the front, and then spent a couple days trying to pick it off the bottom of the ocean.
I think this is speculation. I think it came out as, I think it was a modal confusion, and that was one thing that was worried about with the Super Hornet, with all the different modes you have to land in, right? So you got manual where the guy's actually moving the throttle. You got auto throttles where, you pull the stick back, it gives you a little throttle, right? And if you push the stick forward, it takes throttle away. And then they started getting into rate and path and magic carpet and all this other stuff. So there's so many modes you can get yourself into. And if you have modal confusion, like you roll around the corner, you think you're in a certain mode and you're not, and you do the inputs that you think you should be doing, but the jet's not reacting the way it should be, then obviously you have a safety flight risk there. So that was a big thing with modal confusion. I think that's what happened. I think there was some modal confusion stuff. He thought he was in a certain landing mode, and he wasn't. And
gotcha.
And he realized he just got underpowered. And I don't care what airplane you behind the ship. I don't care if it's an F-22. Once you get underpowered behind the ship, like that underpowered, there's no recovery.
Yeah. Not where you want to be in life. Well, as we get towards wrapping up here, I would like to talk about what you're doing now. I hope you hang around for a There I Was story. But You wrapped up your time as a commander teaching T-45s. You're also doing that still today. Can you kind of talk to me about the last assignment and then what you're seeing now today going through with Navy training, how that's transitioning, if it is different than when you were actually wearing the green bag with rank on?
Yeah. First off, I like to say is we're in good hands. People like to think that generation changes and stuff like that. And, I had that first thing. I had kind of had that walking into. It's like, man, these guys are guys and gals can be a little softer what I'm used to coming from the fleet. We are in good hands. Like America is in good hands, and I can say that with all honesty. They're way smarter than I was. They're more talented. They understand things a lot better as far as technology. So we are in really good hands. The training, to be honest, when I was a student versus what it was when I first checked in as the executive officer and commanding officer was the exact same. Nothing had changed. There may have been tweaks to certain things, whatever. So I guess they think it works because it literally did not change. I think I could have taken my training books, all the books I read when I was a student, and kept them when I was a CO going or XO going through the training process to get my quals. Exact same. They are making a headway now of putting efficiencies into the syllabus, updating stuff, a little bit more air-to-air stuff, trying to get them ready for the FRS. Obviously, we don't have a radar, so it's pretty limited. But they are moving in a direction that prepares them better for Super Hornet, JSF, FRS stuff versus this kind of cookie cutter stuff. They're making it more refined. So when guys and gals actually get to the FRS, they have a little bit more introduction to what they're going to see at the FRS. It is not going to make their life any easier at the FRS, I can tell you that, but it will introduce them to certain things that they may or may not have been exposed to. It can help them. It's just not going to make it easier.
Perfect. Well, hey, as we wrap up here, parting shots. If you found 15, 16-year-old Yokel walking down the street, any advice you'd give him? Tell him to do something different?
Be yourself. Yeah, as I grew up, and I've had a lot of opportunities to be in leadership positions. It's like just be authentic to yourself. Obviously there's room for improvement. We all got things that we need to improve on. But as you get through life, don't change who you are just because in the position you're in. Right? I call it the chameleon. When people get in certain positions, they turn into a chameleon. They just turn into that role. It's like, who is this guy?
Yeah, right.
Like, why are you not the person you were when you took this job? So, as a young person, just understand you definitely got a long road, to get into a leadership position. But once you get there, it's like, hey, take care of your people, right? If you take care of your people, you will achieve your mission, right? That's it. That's all you got to worry about. Everything else will work out. If your people are happy and they feel like they're taken care of, you will achieve your mission. Like it's a guarantee, right? If you don't have your people, the mission you will not achieve your mission. And I don't care what the mission is. And be true to yourself and be authentic. Don't be somebody that you're not. Don't try to be somebody else. You got that position because who you were. It's not who they want you to be. It's who you are right now. That's why you got that position. So be authentic. And I tell all my flight students, I got a saying. It's like, hey, I want you to be confident. I want you to have humility, and I want you to have swagger. Right? Those are the three things I live by. You got to be confident in what you do, right? But you got to have humility, right? And to do our business, you got to have a little swagger, right? All
100%.
those three combined, that makes a successful fighter pilot, in my opinion.
Love it. Thanks for hanging around for There I Was. It was great chatting with you. And look forward to talking a little bit more.
Thanks.